Jeepers! You're listening to Smash or Pass.
Hi, JayBee and Milly. It's Scooby Doo here. Good morning, guys. Great to see you again. And it's a beautiful day in Sydney this morning, Saturday morning, and great to see you.
Oh, it's absolutely incredible to see you do. Thank you so much for that amazing intro. I think this is the only interview that I didn't do the intro for, so this one's probably going to be the best one. So thank you so much for joining again. It's amazing to have you here, and with such an amazing poster in the background as well.
Yeah, I got some great memories from both movies, Scooby Doo 1 and 2. Um, and I've got a signed poster that big from everybody, and that's a pride of place in my bar at home. So yeah, that's from Scooby Doo 1. It's the purple one, and yeah, it's really cool. Thank you.
Oh, that's amazing. That would always be like collecting all the Infinity Gauntlets. I mean, I guess for people watching this, there is an interview that we did around about this time last year that I'll leave in the description down below and on the screen here as well. And I say that because I think that one I was shaking all the way through. I was very nervous. I was nearly in tears at the end of it. So that will be there as a bit more of a formal one. Not to say that this will be completely a free for all, but a little bit more informal if that's okay with you.
So yeah, sure, man. No worries. I mean, when
So,
was that last year?
oh yeah, it was just before actually the June and the Sydney and Perth supernova events last year as well. So it probably would have been
Yeah,
around about the same time. It's
yeah,
interesting
yeah,
to
yeah.
bring that full circle. And I guess to get on with that catch up, obviously, last time we saw you, it was in person at Scotland Comic Con, which was an incredible time. And to that end, was that the first Comic Con that you've done outside of Australia or one of the first? And if so, how did that
It
all come
was.
about?
It was, man. Yeah, look, I've just stepped into this Comic Con world recently, and I've been asked over the years, many times if I wanted to come along. And look, to be honest, I was just busy. It's not that I didn't want to, but I've been continuously working in film and television, in various wearing various hats. So voice artist, actor, stuntman, and I do on-set safety as well, safety supervisor, which is a lot of what I do now is safety supervising on set. It's a natural progression from stunts, but I've also worked outside the industry when the industry, it's the industry's ups and downs. Sometimes I remember the GFC back in 2007, 8. I mean, the studios at Warner Brothers on the Gold Coast, they were a ghost town. There was no one was making anything. It was very, very down. So, I had three young children. Then you still got to put food on the table. So I had to go out and work outside the industry. And it's safety is a passion of mine. It's I do care for people, and I want to keep them, safe. And let's all go home, to our families. Look, we're not curing cancer. We're just making a film. So let's not get hurt. So it's something that I really enjoy doing. I love my film family. The film crew and the casts, but especially the crew. They're we work so long hours together. We certainly spend much more time with our crewmates, fellow crew members, than we do our families when we're on a show. Absolutely, double, probably more. It's 50 hour week as a base, 10-hour days. And then I do overtime a lot because I've got to be there from the start when the grips and lighting arrive and set up all their equipment at location or in the studios. And then I'm there till wrap basically, and then after to help them to bump out if we're leaving set like we did last night. So that's basically why I haven't been doing Comic Cons in the past. But it actually came about by the Gold Coast Film Festival in Queensland, Australia. They it's a great festival, and um, last year was the 20th anniversary of Scooby Doo release. No,
The
2002.
year
2002,
before.
sorry. So 2020 was the 20 years of Scooby Doo being released. And so that they had that Scooby Doo as a feature, as their feature film of the whole festival, to tie into that. And because perfect, Scooby Doo was shot at the studios right there, and all around the Gold Coast and Brisbane. So it was a really nice tie-in, and the publicity manager got in touch with me and said, "Oh, would like to invite you to come and do a Q&A after we screen the movie at the cinema. We're having John Cox bring all of his props in. We're going to have memorabilia. It's going to be out in the foyer, and then screen the movie, and then we'd love to have you do a Q&A with the audience." And I went, "Yeah, that sounds like fun. Sure, no worries." So we unfortunately I got COVID and couldn't attend in person, so I did it over the phone. And even then, people were saying to me afterwards, "Really interesting. I mean, really, like, it was great. You really should be doing Comic Cons, and your Q&A would be amazing." And so, Daniel from Supernova got in touch with me and said, "Yeah, come along, let's do it." And it's been a revelation, honestly. I really, really, really love doing them. Meeting all the Scooby Doo fans, the army is so passionate, and honestly, the love and affection that I receive from all of you guys is quite overwhelming. I certainly don't take it for granted, and I really love all the fans coming up and doing their voices to me, and I do Shaggy back or Scrappy back depending on what they say to me, and it's just so much fun, and I just love putting smiles on faces and sharing the love, and what a gift. What a gift. I keep just doing what I do, and it's so much fun. So yes, I did all Supernovas 2020. And then it's been a ride since then. And last year, yeah, Monopoly Events said, "Hey, come on over." My agent in Australia, Mary from Koala Bear Promotions. She is incredible, and yeah, she's looking after me now, and got me over to Scotland, and maybe I'll be going to the States to catch up. And you've got the early inside goss with Matthew Lillard.
Ooh.
Yeah,
Oh, wow.
we're gonna be reunited for the first time in 20 years at a Comic-Con in America soon. Watch this space, gang. Watch this space. It's going to be super exciting.
Oh my gosh, that is incredible. JayBee and I have always said there's a Funko Pop that's a double pack of Shaggy and Scooby.
Oh yeah.
And we've always said it's our absolute dream to be at a Comic-Con that you were both at and get that signed. Hoping that it was going to be the UK, instantly thinking, how do we get to America?
Well, look, it may be, Milly. It may be. I don't know. We're in communication, and it's inevitable that we'll get together at some point. And look, we're great mates, and I've just lost touch, and lately with him. I saw his Heather's beautiful, his wife, and their Addison, who was a baby when we shot Scooby Doo 2 in Vancouver. Is now in her 20s. So it's gonna happen. Might be in the UK, might be more likely in America, to be honest.
Yeah, well, hopefully, it's just a sign of more to come and returning Comic-Cons, and hopefully, be it the next one or the one after that, we get to see you back in the UK. What was it like when you got to come over to Scotland? Was it that they just flew you out for the 2 days and then you had to go straight back? I appreciate it's quite a long flight. Did you get to see much of Scotland?
I did, yes. So I was a bit of a whirlwind. I mean, my life is very busy because I'm a corporate performer as well. So I MC corporate events as myself, or I have about 18 different characters that I do as comedy. So It's interactive comedy. So I play all these characters and at corporate events. So it's that as well as all the other film stuff and Scooby stuff. So yeah, I like being busy. I love showbiz and whatever it brings. So I sing, do stunts, act. I've got a lot of. You got to have skills if you want to have a long-term career. So it's. I was doing all those things leading up to Scotland. We were renovating at home as well, and 3 weeks after I got home from Scotland, well, I got married. So it was a whirlwind time, but yes, it's a very long way to go. So my fiance at the time, Jen, we went over for 2 weeks, and we had 4 days in London, and because Jen had never been to London or the UK, I'd been over there with Matt in 2004, sorry, to promote the DVD release of Scooby Doo 2. And we had 10 days of shenanigans over in the UK with Matt. It was incredible. I just posted, just diverting off that UK with Jen, where I just posted on my socials, Scooby Doo Neil Fanning, like and follow, a photo of us at the great St. Ormond's hospital. Is that the one? St. Ormond's?
Yeah.
Yeah. Hospital where Matt and I, so Warner Brothers, Warner Brothers organised a lot of things because we had, a week or 10 days it was, but a week's worth of promotion. So one of the things we did on that trip was we went to the hospital and the children's ward, and Matt and I read stories to the kids. We acted out scenes from the movies, live with and they were just. It was so rewarding for us because these kids, some of them were terminal. It was super heartwarming, and we had a great time as much as they did. They were just giggling and laughing, and oh my God, it was so incredibly, unbelievably beautiful. And all the staff, came in on their days off and things because they knew we were coming, because the movie had just been released, and it was certainly, I think it was still in the cinemas. So that was a very rewarding thing to do. But this trip that we did recently for Scotland, because it's a long way to go from Australia, we had 2 weeks with the gig in the middle and the week either side, and London. So I just had to do things that on my bucket list and to show Jen the amazing West End. So we went and saw Mousetrap. We went and saw Tina was playing at the time. That was amazing, and a couple other shows. Did all the touristy things, of course, and really enjoyed London itself. And then we hired a car and drove from London to Scotland, and because we did a few tours as well while we were there in London, but great to get out and enjoy the countryside. It's beautiful over in Scotland, and just a drive up there. I'm a stunt driver. I like driving, and so it was fantastic, and everyone was so at the event, Monopoly events, really looked after us. Great to catch up with the Grease cast, who Mary from Koala Bear Promotions also looks after. They were fantastic. I'd met Barry before, Barry Pearl, played Duty. I'd met him before at Supernova in Sydney, and we just got on like a house on fire. He is fantastic. So much fun and energy, very much like we sort of mirrored each other. We immediately clicked and did some funny videos that went off on TikTok at the time. But it was great to meet all the other cast as well and get to know them. And they're all amazing. So a real joy. And Elijah Wood and Andy Serkis had lunch with those guys and just talked about their stuff that's coming up, and they were fantastic as well. Everybody, honestly, all the guests that are at these events, they are what you see, backstage. They're all very genuine, beautiful people, and it's a real honor to interact with the fans so closely and give back. I get so often fans saying, mate, you made my childhood. When I was struggling, I put Scooby Doo on, and bang, I forget my worries, and I just get lost. I laugh. It's amazing, and that the movies, they still hold up. They're still incredibly made. And thank you for your Richard Suckle interview recently. OMG. I learned so much. I learned so much from that. That's probably one of the best interviews I reckon I've ever seen.
Wow.
Because he's so experienced. His journey, into it, and great questions by you guys too. Honestly, on point.
Thank you.
That's why I said in that comment online, you guys, just all your interviews, they're really insightful, and you know the material so well. And they're great questions. And that Richard Suckle interview was incredible. But I'm really diverging off here. Do you want to ask a question?
I mean, I guess a couple of things. I mean, first of all, congratulations on your wedding, of course. Of course, you were working, but it was almost like Scotland could have been like a pre-honeymoon, a honey sun or something. I don't know what you'd call that.
It was. It was, mate.
Incredible.
Because I'd just been away. I was working on Heartbreak High Series 2, and Heartbreak High Series 3 has just been greenlit. And I'm going to be back on that. And that's going to be epic, because great cut. Incredibly, I don't know if you've seen it on Netflix, Heartbreak High. If you haven't, check it out. It's very good. Very, very, very good. And obviously, third season. These things don't get greenlit if they're not hugely successful and extremely well made. Great young cast. I mean, this cast, incredible ensemble. So there's a lot of them, and I got to know them really, really well. And because I'm a performer, and I bring certain energy to the set. I mean, this is who I am all the time. They invited me to their parties. The cast and crew have parties. Rarely get together off on the weekends. Pretty much, maybe. But the rap party is where we all get together at a show. But I was thrilled to be invited to certain birthday parties of the cast and catch ups and things, and got to know them really well. And I'm looking forward to following their careers, because there's so much talent in that young cast. And Angus Sampson was fantastic. He's an Australian comedian, and a really, really great guy. So yeah, check it out if you've seen that. What was your question?
Yeah, so I mean, you're kind of springboarding off a few of the things you were saying, of course, with the wedding, and of course, thank you so much for your kind words about the Richard Suckle interview, because really, it's so crazy. I almost wish that you could have seen like how much love that I did have and still do have for the first two live action movies. I mean, you'd probably like want to get me sanctioned or something, but I literally, when you say something like that, I feel like I'm an aspiring musician, and I've just had a compliment from the Beatles. Like I'm kind of just like I'm being bounced about in my own head. Then I'm like, oh my God, like that's amazing. But I mean, that's the heart of Scooby Doo, I think. Making people happy and good memories, and just that memory of Comic-Con Scotland. I still remember carrying around that big poster on my back, looking like a Ninja Turtle. What was some of your highlight memories from coming to Scotland on the Comic-Con, I guess, especially?
Yeah, well, it's amazing, because everyone was so welcoming and beautiful to us. Scottish people, love them. They're amazing. And the fact, and you remember the day, it was absolutely pouring, pouring with rain.
Yeah.
We had 2 days beforehand, a day beforehand, and on the day it just teemed all day. I don't know if that's normal. Maybe it is.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It would have been unusual if it wasn't.
Yeah.
Right. and that explains why they still, all the fans didn't bother them, no dramas. They came out in droves. It was packed, and super impressive. All the costumes. They covered up. I guess they're used to it. And it's nothing for them. But yes, so highlights for me. The quality of the costumes was incredible. Film quality, amazing, and I guess the diversity of the performers that I was working with as well, and there was a lot of them, and great to meet them. Highlight to meet Elijah Wood and Andy Serkis and all the Grease cast, as I said, and others, and I got a lot of really favourable comments of my setup,
Oh,
you
yeah.
know, because if they're going to come all that way to see me and line up and see and have their time with me, and I try and give as much time as I can to every individual, and make their moment really special and memorable. I feel an obligation to do some theming, to do some, make it look as professional. And I always try and do everything up here. If anything in life, if you're going to do it, give it 100, give it 100%. So I got a lot of comments from the staff, like the organisers. I had to have two tables because I bring along my own things for people to sign, pops and mystery machines and things. So and theme it myself. They had a big poster which you guys bought, which was amazing.
Yeah, it's popping up right up there, actually.
It's there. It's there. And I used it for my profile pic online. So as a homage to you guys, because it was so exciting to finally meet you, and talk to people on interviews and so on. But there's that connection when you actually meet them, and you guys just super fans. It's amazing. And you probably know more about the whole Scooby Doo thing than I do. Absolutely no word of a lie. You do. I know different things, but you know a lot about this incredible franchise and the character and so on. And look behind you. It's just amazing. I love seeing your photos and all your videos. It's really cool.
Oh, thank you. That's amazing. Yeah, because the poster's amazing, and that was a really cool experience. And your setup as well. Just
It's definitely the best one we've
yeah.
ever seen. By a
I
long
got
shot,
that a
it's
lot.
the best one.
I got that a lot, and that's high praise coming from you guys because you see a lot and you go to a lot of events. So,
Oh yeah. Well, it was interesting because
I'm
you
always
had something there that I'd never seen before, like available, and that was the little mini keychain of Scooby, the little Funko keychain. I'd never seen one of those before. In fact, one of my main regrets is not picking one
Yeah.
of those up on the day. And so, because all of these places have different markets, like I know that Australia has Movie World, which has a load of cool stuff. Like in terms of the diversity of some of the items that was bought to you on that day, how different was it than the stuff that you're seeing at, like, say, Supernova, for instance?
um, well, Supernova's in Australia too, so it wasn't that different. I don't know what's available in different countries. I get a lot of comments online about certain countries they find it difficult to find things. But I mean, if you search online enough, you'll find pretty much everything.
Mm.
But things become rare, and I had some PC games there. I had some you know uh, Nintendo games. Scooby Doo Nintendo games. Pretty rare, but I mean, I just feel like that's out of my collection, but I want to give it now. I don't, it's not. It's held in much more regard and has much more sentimentality for the fans than it does for me. Because I know I did the voice on it, and I remember recording it and all that stuff, and that's good enough for me here. So give it, be
Amazing.
nice, be kind. It's not hard.
It's amazing. And speaking of items to be signed, I know that you mentioning, the possibility of a Comic-Con with Matthew Lillard as well as spiraled completely different things in my mind as to what could be signed. And there's like you said, some things become quite rare, especially with the movie being out, 22 years ago, I think it almost is now. So there's matching bobbleheads from it. There's characters that were almost kind of flat pack that would be really cool to see, that double Funko Pop. Is there any item that you remember perhaps being produced for the movie that you've not been asked to sign that'd be really cool to see, or any item in particular that you'd like to see brought to you at a Comic-Con?
Yeah, that's a good question. Oh, look, I mean, I think they've produced pretty much everything that I can remember. I remember at Scooby Doo One they did there was some Lunchables was one of the sponsors, and then they brought out a range of food and things around that. I mean, I haven't seen any of that ever brought because I guess it's 20 years ago, and the packaging just didn't get kept or something. I haven't seen any of that, but I mean, I get the cans brought to me. Um, there's soda pop cans of the ghosts and things. I've got a couple of I've got some soft lunch box Scooby Doo lunch boxes, really cool, great funky colors, and I'm trying to get all the cans. There's six. There's a series of six cans that with the ghost. I think it's the clown. Anyway, I've got five of them. So I'm going to get this sixth one, and then I'm gonna give it to somebody. I'm gonna give it away as a prize for something. I'm gonna do a competition.
That's a really good idea.
Sign it and give it away at a convention sometime. Because I'm doing some regional events now in Australia. I've got a couple coming up in Queensland and Canberra and stuff. Anyway, I I did one last year, it was the year before, and I said, because I'm an MC, I said to the organisers, because they hadn't had anyone. This is regional, so Australia's really big, and so it's hard to get, celebrities or people who've worked in the film and television industry to go to them because it's a long way and things. But I value the country. I live in the country on a farm, and so I understand that the opportunities to see and do things are very limited. And so if there's a town that's doing something, all these people come from the outback and read all hundreds and hundreds of kilometers away, miles away. They come in to it because it's the big thing. It's the big event. So I've been supporting the regional events to have, and they say, oh, we haven't had anyone of your caliber like at our event ever. And I say, look, no worries. Look, I'm here to value add to your event. I'm an MC. Would you like me to open the event for you? So you've got all the people standing there waiting for those doors or gates to open, and they flood in and they're excited. I'll come out and welcome everyone. Thank all the sponsors. Introduce the dignitaries. Do a welcome to country. We do a welcome to country for our Indigenous heritage, our Indigenous people, and us. And then I'll do a Scooby Doo countdown, and then you can open the gates. So 10, 9, yeah, do all that, and then Scooby Doo, and then they roll in, and it's fantastic. So that's a little thing that I can do to improve the event, maybe. And then I said to them, this is the first one, and they've all taken up on this. Let's do a best Scooby Doo voice competition, and I'll judge it on the day. So what happens is they put a submission in before, and all the competitors come up on stage before my panel, and I do I host it, and I do they all do the voice to me individually. So they get to do their Scooby Doo voices to me, and I do Shaggy or Scrappy, depending on what they say to me, back to them. And we have a little interplay, and I say, look, film this, put it on your socials. It's a great memory doing the voice with the voice of Scooby Doo. I mean, blows their mind. Blows their mind. They love it. Absolutely love it. And there's so much talent out there. Please, if you're at an event, come and do your voice to me. And because I just love, I'm a voice artist. I appreciate, talent and having fun with people. And so, and then I give a prize. I give out of my collection, I give them a prize to the winner. And sometimes they make a little trophy for them. And it's really cool. And they are really good. They're really good. So it's a heap of fun. And then that I just drift into the panel after that. So try and just do things that are, helping the event become better. And playing my part in it is really good, and I love doing it. So that's what I'm really passionate about the Comic Cons now, and should have been doing it a long time ago. But as I say, I was really really busy doing other things. But look, I'm here now, doing them now, and absolutely loving them.
It's just
Meeting
good
people
Thank you. And it's great that the times are aligned, but also, like you said about the audience interaction, one thing that I do love is just the range of ages that still love Scooby-Doo. Our neighbour and her grandson were outside a few days ago, and we heard her say that he was going inside to watch Scooby-Doo, and he was only young, and I was so happy that it's translating throughout the generations still. And as you mentioned, we did interview Richard Suckle and Matt Diesel as well. And they were so keen to still be talking about the movie after this amount of time. When you're all working together, did you ever think, this is something we're all still going to be talking about this far down the line and into the future?
You know what? I did. It's so endearing. The original series. I mean, I watched it as a child, like everybody, and grew to love it. I thought, I mean, I was blown away when I was just working on it, and then I thought, we all thought, when you're working on a show, you have a little inkling as to what you think it might turn out to be. You might work on a show because the crew, they see so much, they have a pretty good idea about, and they're normally pretty on the money about whether this is going to be successful or it's going to struggle. Because you put the same amount of effort into every show you work on. It just depends on so many factors if it's going to be a hit. But we all thought there was so much genuine passion within the project from everybody, and that came from Richard. He was just so, as a producer, he was just so amazing. And then James with his script. Richard talked about it extensively about what James brought to the table was just so unique and gunnisms, I think he called it.
Oh, yeah.
Which is a great analogy for what we're saying for what James does. Which is this is why he's the CEO of DC. He's really really good at what he does, and he's one of the finest filmmakers in the world, currently, and has been for a long time. So when I go to the States soon, and it could be within the next 3 months, hopefully, I want to catch up with James and Richard and all the gang, and it would be amazing. So yes, we definitely thought, I did anyway, that I thought this is going to go really well, and just had all the. When I first read the script, I was just like, yes, this is going to be sick, and it is, and it still is, and like you say, multi-generational. I get these fans coming. And I had one in Perth recently, and this guy built this Mystery Machine pram. It was amazing. Lights worked. It was incredible. I got photos, and I think I've posted some of them. And he was this is the granddad, He played Fred, and his daughter was Daphne, and then they had their baby. So, and then they're young kids. Three generations, man. And that's so gratifying and heartwarming that, you know, that the movies, both of them, they still hold up, you know. And there's a lot of films that you look at and you go, yeah, that's pretty dated. But not Scoobies. They are just super. The way they are so well made, and timeless. The whole franchise is timeless. You know, we're still 1967, 1966 they started it, Hanna-Barbera, and Scooby Doo Where Are You came out, massive hit from the word go, and it's been and you know, pay homage to the voice actors, original voice actors, Casey Kasem, Frank Welker, and you know, or the original cast of the cartoon. I mean, their characterizations of the gang are just iconic. I mean, this is the, you know, Scooby in particular, Don Messick's version of Scooby, and mine and his are quite similar. We've got the same sort of tone. You know, his the fun that he brought to the character is so funny and goofy, and just, you know, the whole character is just perfect. It's the embodiment of, you know, your own dog and how silly they are, and, you know, they do zoomies and they do funny things all the time. And it's all those elements of dogs generally, and I love dogs. That he brought to the voice, which is what I tried to do too, because he didn't have anything like the voice artists always do the voice first, and then they do the animation afterwards. So it's always that we don't see anything. Actually, I did do one. I did a character on Molly, the cartoon
Leon
in the UK.
Jewson?
Leon Jewson, my mate Leon Jewson. What a amazingly talented man that guy is. And we're still in touch. I'm going to see him in the States definitely. Yeah, so he asked me to do I had an Australian character in one of the episodes of Molly, and it was what was his name? Oh, sorry, I've just blanked on it. But no. Anyway, so I had to do this voice, and he had to cry in this scene, go from like big, you know, and then break down and cry in it. And it was difficult because it was in the UK, and I was recording at home on the farm with a blanket over me because I didn't have my studio built then. That's a good tip. If you're ever a voice artist and you want to replicate a sound studio, put a blanket over you and do your sound, do your voices there. It's very clean. All the extraneous sound is gone. It's like being in a studio, but you don't have the cost and that sort of thing. So yeah, it was one of those situations where he asked me to do this character, and I said absolutely. But in the process, they actually did have the animation done, and I had to match my voice to the character already done, and that's very unusual. And it was really hard. It's really hard because he was crying, and I had to get all the emotions and things that whatever the character did. Obviously, I had to mirror that pretty bang on. I mean, I got it, but it was a challenge. It's good fun.
Ooh, I mean, I do definitely agree with all the things that you were saying, especially your comparisons before as well to Don Messick, because I always do say this, and it's so true that the one thing I miss about, the Scooby-Doos now, of course, I don't think we've ever had a bad Scooby-Doo, but the one thing that you and Don Messick absolutely get is that gravelly undertone that I think really makes it seem like this is Scooby, this is a talking dog, not just here's a fun talking animation character. Like, it really does sell it. So I couldn't imagine a version of the movie that didn't have you as Scooby. I think it's absolutely perfect. And so, I mean, just to set the scene, how did you go from the on-set voice of Scooby-Doo to the final version of that? And what was it like to go from Scooby fan to be the official voice of Scooby in the big motion picture?
Mate, dream come true. I'd been a voice artist for about 6 years before I got Scooby Doo, and as I told you the story, I tell it all the time. I wasn't the voice of Scooby Doo for the final cut. There was another voice artist at the time who did a few cartoons, and they asked him, "We're doing a live action movie. Not sure how this is going to work because CGI was this is 20 years ago. It's very early in its conception about how this is all going to happen. But they did know that they wanted, as Richard said, they did know that they needed somebody on set to perform with the actors, because without me there, there's an X on the wall, and it's very difficult to act to nothing as it is. I mean, the green screen, they do it all the time, and the actors are used to it. But to have someone there, and I'm acting the character, when I was recording the final cut in the end, they were filming me. They're filming my face, and so all the expressions that Scooby does, they're based on what I did, and that. So, yeah, the transition, I guess, from going from a fan, obviously, and it was one of the voices I did all the time. I do a lot of voices, but Scooby's just suits me, and I have a real passion for it. It's one of the best voices ever created, I think. Don Messick, R.I.P., was amazing. So mind blowing. Very difficult process. So they needed a voice reader, someone do the guide track. They needed something there. And so they asked this guy in the States, do you want to come out to Australia and for 5 months and acted on set? And he said no, for whatever reason. Maybe he was busy, I don't know. And they went, oh, that's okay. We'll find a local. And then they auditioned all around Australia and New Zealand. And I got down to the last two from a CD that I put into the casting director at Warner Brothers Studios, because I was actually recording something at the studios and heard about it. And I just thought, yeah, why not? I'll throw it in. And they had someone in, like they had this guy in mind, but anyway, I listened to my CD and they're, yeah, like, let's get this guy in. And then it got down to the last two. And this was a really great audition process. I mean, I guess this is James Gunn, and it's very Gunnism. But they said, they thought, how are we going to find like the right person? Because we really need someone who can be creative and go off script perhaps and go with the actors. And so, unbeknownst to me, I mean, your career leads you, all the things lead you to something often. And so, as I mentioned before, I do all these characters, interactive comedy, live, all the time. And I was working at Warner Brothers Movie at the time, had been there for 10 years, doing all the street shows and doing all the, Bonnie and Clyde robbing the bank 5 times a day and doing the Police Academy stunt show, all the acting roles and the stunt roles in that show. And so I was and a lot of corporate gigs, just doing a lot of interactive work live. And so I had a certain skill set that maybe other actors don't have. They're script actors. And so they got down to the last two, and they said, what we're going to do is we'll ask both of them a series of 10 questions, and we needed to answer in the character and in the voice on the spot. And I hadn't seen the script at all. And one of the questions was, if you were trying to sneak into somewhere, what would you dress up as? Then I went, well, I've got really good legs, so I might dress up as a lady. And I didn't know that he did that in the movie and as the old woman at the airport getting onto the plane. And they were absolutely pissing themselves. They were just like clapping. Oh my God, there was about 10 people in the room, I think, and it was being filmed. And because it all had to go back and had to be approved by the execs at Warner's at Burbank. And all these other questions too that I just, think off the top of your head. You got to go with, the character, what he's going to, how he would react. And I was pretty animated about it and just had the tone. I love the voice for a start, but then because I could, create things on the spot, as Richard said, they decided after that audition, yeah, definitely my competitor, there's two of us. Craig, I knew him. He's more of a theatre actor. He's more of a script guy, and so you just got to have a lot of skills. And I always had this, if I give any advice, and I do often to young performers or anybody really, if just never say no to an opportunity. If someone's going to offer you, oh, do you want to come to this gig? What am I doing? It's blah. Yeah, sure. That sounds like fun. As long as it's not, ethically against your morals or things like that. And there's certain standards that you have. Say yes, because you never know who you're going to perform in front of. You never know who's going to be in the green room with you as fellow performers at that time, at that gig, that you're going to talk to, because we all talk, because this is, pre-phones. We used to sit in the green room and chat and read books and play chess and cards and things. But now it's unfortunately heads down, thumbs out, and everybody's. But I just talk to people, and that's how you have a really wide, diverse background, because you've done this, you've seen that, and then the gift is too that you get to go and see and do these incredible things that are just where we work on set often is Taronga Zoo when we were doing Scooby Doo 2. Heartbreak High 2. We had a whole day there, and basically I've got as a safety supervisor, I've got an access all areas pass. So I can just go wherever I want, really, as long as it's been approved by the venue, because I've got to check things and see where we're going to be putting the actors and whatever, safety-wise. So you get to go to these. It's a really privileged position because you get to go to these amazing places and meet and see other performers perform, what their skills. It's incredible. Hey, we get on really well. Let's swap numbers. Let's keep in touch. And, that's how you get this, you get a good reputation, be early, do a good job, and put in 100%, be here. And then you get your community, common unity, you get your community of fellow performers. And it's just fantastic. Showbiz is amazing in that respect if you put in the effort to do that.
It certainly sounds like with Scooby Doo, right from the get-go, you gave 100% to it. We recently found out about a giant Scrappy Rex head that was created for the set, and that you did the on-set voice of him. So what was that like?
Very difficult. Milly, that was one of the most difficult days I've had, because and that was the gift too with Raja Gosnell, the director. Early in the piece, I said to him, we had a scene, and I said, when we were shooting, I said, Raja, I really think Scooby is going to react to that. He should say something in the end, and can I just do a version where we do that? And told him what I wanted to do. And he said, you just do you just do it, and we'll use it or not. It'll be an alt. alternative. As long as you don't trip over the actors' lines, and you clear it with them, work out. Yeah, sure. That freedom was just incredible because they used all of them. Every idea I had, pretty much they loved, and they're in the films. So but that particular one, when I was reading Scrappy, and Scrappy's for people that don't know, is Scooby's nephew, and so he's the put him up, I'll whack him, I'll suck him, happy power. Yeah, the annoying little one. Not one of my favourites personally, and it did cause a bit of friction at the time within the series. I think it was the early '80s that they introduced Scrappy into Scooby and Shaggy. Is that right? '80s?
Yeah, it was
So
an episode penned by Mark Evanier. I think it's the Scooby and Scrappy show, which it's either 78 or 80 right on the dot.
Yeah,
I'm not
somewhere around there.
sure.
Yeah, yeah. I thought you might know better, and you do. But yeah, so uh, they made Scrappy cleverly. James Gunn again made Scrappy the villain. Perfect, perfect. And so because they wanted to put in some way Scrappy to bed. He wasn't popular. Three's a crowd, and that Scooby and Shaggy had such a good relationship within the series, that you bring someone else in and it just didn't sit with the fans, and I don't think it worked personally. But he was annoying. He was sort of, gruff and tough, and it wasn't really what I liked. And so that Warner Brothers, well, I can't speak for Warner Brothers, but I believe there was a sort of a feeling that we should make the villain Scrappy, and then he can be arrested at the end and taken away and never seen again. Never seen again. They just wanted to bury the character completely, and what a perfect way to do it in Scooby Doo the movie. So to make him the villain, really clever. And so Scrappy goes from this 2 foot high little dog, and he transforms into Scrappy Rex. And so I voiced Scrappy Rex as well. So I had to go. This was really difficult, and I worked extensively with Raja to figure out how long have I got to do this, because what they're filming is is a blank set, and I've got to imagine what Raja's vision and James's and Richard's vision of what this transformation from Scrappy into Scrappy Rex, and then it's a dramatic moment in the film, and I had this. It was really difficult. It was because you're going from puppy up here to demon, Ritus, it's evil, the most demonic thing you could think. So in one take, I did all that, going from absolute falsetto up here to to this demon, was really difficult. It was really difficult, and it was really it was pretty taxing on my voice, because I was just giving it everything I had, and time again, and all the crew are just behind me, and they're filming this blank cave wall in the studio, where they built the Mondavarius's lair. And it was really difficult. But and so the art department made this Scrappy Rex as a visualization, not just a visualization for me, but they used it as part of the process for the art department and VFX, visual effects, to have that there. It was really impressive. I mean, you're going to show a photo of it, I hope, because it's amazing. I just put it up online recently, and these are the things. Again, I've been busy, and I'm pretty private. Like I've got a lot of photos and BTS videos, tests, things, and I'm just releasing them now because I want to give back. And no point in me having them. I mean, I treasure this collection, but yeah, I'm going to get on my socials, folks, and watch all these things come out because there's more to come. I'm really busy at the moment. I've got a little bit of time off coming up, and I'm going to be putting things out there that people have never seen before. And
Ooh, that's amazing. We're
like
definitely looking forward to that. We'll definitely leave the socials in the comment section as well because the Scrappy Rex head is such a weird one. Like we first saw it in like some of Matt Diesel's gag reel. It just kind of popped up and there wasn't really a really on foot like on front full view look at it. And then you posted that and it's amazing. And so I guess a bit of a quick question, which you may not know the answer for, but obviously you have the Scooby head and that's amazing. Do you know what the fate of the Scrappy Rex head was at all? Like, whatever happened to that?
no, I've got a photo that I'm going to put up soon, or maybe I even have, of it's. I've got the mystery machine in the background, and because I like setting things up, I'm a filmmaker. What's in the BG? You know, if you're going to do a photo, make sure it's really good. And so I've got the mystery. I'm against the mystery machine from the movie, and I've got the Scrappy doll in one hand. Not doll. It's amazing art department made professionally. It's a work of art. This little thing I'm holding, and I think I'm holding the other head in one hand. I've got Scooby in one hand and Scrappy in the other, and I've got the Scooby shirt on just because it looks good, and then I've got my cans that I had where I was working because I was on set, and that's incredible too. So there was certain thing like these little models. I don't know where that went. I think John Cox might have it, who's an Oscar winning set, effects guy. Um, and I think he might have it. He's got like all these props came out for part of the sets and things that people had kept that came out at that screening for the Gold Coast Film Festival, but I didn't see it. I wasn't there because I had COVID. But yeah, I don't know where that went, but I don't know. I'm not a Scrappy fan, so it's not something that I'm interested in getting. However, there is something that I would love to get, and Matthew Lillard just posted the other day him doing
Oh yeah.
a fan site, and he had the dog there, this amazing looking dog, and he's wearing some suit. I can't remember, but he's got his head off and he's holding his head, and he's got the a Scooby dog, life size, Great Dane, like on all fours. That was impressive. You're going to show a photo of that too,
Yeah,
I
it was when
reckon.
he was in like the Springtrap suit from Five Nights at Freddy's and he's got the dog next to him. That's Scooby.
When? Yeah. Did that just get posted recently? Because I
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
it
feel
was
like
like
it
within the last week or so.
last week. Yeah. Yeah. I know. Cool.
It's amazing how many things just surface even now, still from all that time ago. I mean, on Monsters Unleashed, we recently saw some deleted Monsters footage from the second movie and test screening from it. Were you ever brought in or asked to help screen test with any of those initial concepts for Monsters?
Yeah. Yeah. I
Oh,
was.
do you remember if there was one in particular that perhaps maybe didn't make it into the movie or anything like that that you really liked?
Like, I can't remember, Millie. It's so long ago. But I mean, I did a lot of stuff. And whatever they wanted, I was happy to do it because again, never say no. Do you want to do this? Yeah, sure, I'll help you. Yep. So yeah, I did a lot of tests and just working with other people, the other actors who were playing the villains, um, amazing as well. So yeah, a lot of interaction just to help them like not even film, just to help them to hear what I was going to do prior to us shooting, and all those sorts of things. But yeah, I don't know that there's any that I can remember that didn't make the movie. I think they were pretty set on, Captain Cutler and all the Black Knight for two. They were pretty set on those particular villains.
Yeah. I mean, certainly there was some amazing callbacks in that movie. It was just so nostalgia filled. And this year does mark the 20th anniversary of that movie. So how do you reflect on it after all that time?
Well, I mean, I'm just super excited because here we go. We're going to kick this franchise off again with the recent announcement from Netflix and Berlanti Productions of the TV series that's going to be filmed soon. Well, it makes me feel very nostalgic because and it just seems like really good timing right now because yes, it is the 20th anniversary of Scooby Doo 2. The production is going to come at some point, and I'm reunite the dynamic duo. Can't wait, cannot wait. It's going to be so much fun. I've been revisiting all the when we went to London. And did the promotion. We did like almost. I put something up recently about us going there from that tour. We did about almost 50 interviews in one day at the Dorchester Hotel. The world's press came in, and you know how in I think is it Notting Hill where they rotate. They get 5 minutes or 6 minutes with us, and then next comes through and all that, and then we did some radio interviews at the end as well for Scooby Doo 2, the DVD release. Heaps of fun, and thank goodness it was Matt because if you've got to spend time with anybody. Spend time with Matthew Lillard because he's just so much fun and honestly, he's just the most genuine, loving guy, kind, and we're very similar, in who we are, and mutual respect, and the things he said in the interviews about me and what I brought, and how we got on is so heartwarming to hear, and I was very humbled at the time, and I still am, to have him as a friend and fellow actor as well, to perform with. So yeah, I'm in touch with. I've made contact with Berlanti Productions. Come on, fans! Scooby Army, get behind me. I need to voice this character in this TV series because the difference between other performers perhaps is that my voice is real, like it fits in with other real people,
exactly.
Real actors, and it's not cartoony, it's not I've got the breadth of emotions to come out, and look, proof's in the pudding. I've already done it twice and loved it and all that. They were very, very, very successful. So I'm really, really hoping that I get the opportunity to get back on set and perform live with the actors again off camera, and then go and do the final cut. This would just be amazing. Come on, Scooby Army, get behind me. Email Netflix, email Berlanti Productions. Let's lobby them because I'm super excited about the prospect of what this is going to mean for the franchise, for everything. It's just keeping Scooby alive, and what a great thing, hey guys.
Yeah, you really did take the next question out of my mouth there, because of course, really excited for that. And I was just thinking, like, that respect to the original live actions now going full circle. I was thinking, if we were lucky, Netflix could do kind of like the bare minimum and at least have some original cast members making cameos. But you are absolutely right with what you said about you being the real voice of Scooby in a way that you can believe that your voice fits in with a world of live action heroes as opposed to the animation thing, which I completely agree with. So definitely we're gonna get behind that. We're gonna be amazing and really, really excited about that. Definitely emailing Belanti, emailing Netflix, and of course to get into the process of wrapping things up, of course, we do have some Supernova events coming up, of course, with the Sydney event on the 22nd and 23rd of June, and the Perth event on the 29th and 30th. And can I just say, as a person from the UK, as a Whovian, I was so jealous to see that you met Jodie Whittaker last time round, and of course, a friend of the channel, a fellow interviewee, Jennifer Hale, the voice of Thorn from the Hex Girls as well. So, what are you excited about with these upcoming Supernova events, and are there any guests coming this time round that you're excited to meet?
Oh, yes. Well, look, it's going to be great to get back with the Supernova family. I mean, what Daniel Zachariou creates is really, really special. And it's been going 20 years, Supernova. And following on from later in the year, they've just sort of brought this out like last couple of days, is Brisbane, my hometown, in November is going to be the 100th Supernova event.
Ooh.
So, whoa, they're just getting some amazing things organised already for that. But leading up to this Supernova in Sydney, there is some internationals coming over for it, and I mean you've got some actors from Steve Bisley from Mad Max, the original Mad Max, Goose. He was a great guy, funny, and we got on really well. Yes, there's some other. I think Jodie's coming. Is Jodie? I just have not had a chance to really look at exactly the lineup, but I mean it'll be incredible. I mean they get some really really high quality perfect people that suit Supernova, and they're all fantastic. You know, Jodie and all the Doctor Who cast that have come out over the years. Fantastic. You know, we hang out in the green room, have lunch, and get to know them. And I always get a photo with people because I'm nostalgic. I, I, photography and filmmaking is it's a hobby. It's what I do. It's what I love. And I've been actually filming things since I was very young, just for me, you know. So I remember having this big camera when they first came out, and I'd turn it on myself because when I was very young, way before, people do them all the time now, of course. Turn your phone around and bang, you're there. Which is why I'm really comfortable in front of the camera and talking to you guys. Just been doing it all my life. And I've got some amazing footage from all my trips and adventures in life over the years. So I value all the people that I meet at the guests and at Supernovas. And also shout out to the volunteers, the volleys. I take time every day to thank everybody behind the scenes. They just work so hard, and they're passionate about helping people as well. And the setup to look after people with disabilities. They've just got everything on point to make the guest stay as enjoyable and smooth and happy as possible. The range of things there at Supernovas, especially, it's quite incredible. I mean, we had all the vehicles from Mad Max because Steve Bisley was there. They had all the vehicles, the cop cars, the bikes, everything. There's just so much to see and do that please come along, Supernovas. Coming up June, Sydney, and then Perth. Love to get over to WA again, Western Australia. Look forward to seeing you all there.
It certainly sounds like there's a lot of exciting times for you coming up with Supernova, possibly the US Comic Con as well. obviously the live action Scooby would be an absolute dream for so many people if that were to happen as well. Are there any other projects or anything you have that's coming up that you can talk about, or alternatively, the best place for people to keep in touch with future announcements?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I've pretty much expressed what I can talk about for now. But I'm going to be back on Heartbreak High Series 3, end of the year in Sydney again, shooting. And I've got this little gap now for the next 3 months because we wrap on this show that I'm working on right now, which is BBC TV show that you're probably very familiar with. It's called Return to Paradise, which is Australia's version of
Have
Death
you
in
just
Paradise.
Oh my
clicked?
gosh, yeah, I'm so sorry. Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. I need to. Oh, I'm so
Great
sorry.
reaction. You're a
Yeah,
fan?
because they
Massive
did Death in
fan.
Paradise and they did Beyond Paradise and Oh, you know what? I need to leave. That's crazy.
I've just blown JB's mind.
You
I'm so
have.
sorry.
JayBee introduced me to that show when we'd been together. I think about 6 months into our relationship, you introduced me to Death in Paradise, and we watched them all, and you watched them with me like it was the first time seeing them, trying to solve all the mysteries
God.
together and things. So that is a show
I
that's
mean,
very close to our hearts.
great, because it's going to be great, guys, because BBC have dipped their leg, their body into the water in Australia. So they've now created BBC Australia, Australia Studios in Sydney. They've got a headquarters here. They're going to do a lot more productions from Australia, which is super exciting. And this is their first drama that they're shooting is, of course, Return to Paradise, because Death in Paradise did 13 series amongst its spin-offs and so on. So incredibly successful. And I was talking to the director of, Death in Paradise came out just last week, and was on set, and I had a really good chat to him about the series, and I just complimented him because now he's producing and so on. And so I just complimented him because it's a really clever demographic and show, because it's very unique in the fact that you can sit down on a Sunday night and watch this show with your kids, because it's G-rated murder mystery. So the cops don't have weapons. There's no blood. They're nice murders. I mean, that
Yeah.
something's got to happen, of course, but the fact is that that's a very unusual space for, and it's very clever of BBC to have produced that tone of a show, because
Very
then it's got a really wide demographic and people love it. And so obviously they set the first series in Jamaica, and they love the sun, the palm trees, and all that. And now we're replicating that tone again. So it's the same tone. Australian actors. There's a few British actors in it who are fantastic, but I can't bust that at the moment. We're still shooting. So look, watch this space. It's going to be on the ABC TV in Australia, and of course BBC. It's a BBC One in the UK.
Yeah.
It is, yeah.
Yeah, and around the world. So and it's really, really good. Great cast, great crew. It's been very enjoyable to work on, and it's going to look epic because Sydney beaches. Oh my gosh, we were just at the northern beaches yesterday, and stunning, absolutely stunning. And it looks so good. I mean, watch the monitors, and it looks so good. It's gonna be sick. You're gonna lose your mind, JB.
It's amazing, and I'm just so excited for that. I can't wait to rewatch it and just watch like the penny drop for me what it was.
Well, this is the thing, is you were almost so excited. I heard you say that you were working on it, but I didn't even hear in what capacity. I just saw JayBee go, whoa!
I know.
Just
That was
Australia as
priceless,
well.
mate.
And the Australian people are so incredible and so supportive of their own stars as well. Like when we had you on the first time, our Australian fan base was about 12%, and then it spiked up to like 20%. Then when we had Holly Brisley on, it spiked up another so much. So it's just amazing, that whole vibe. Like even just interviewing someone from Australia, I almost do feel like we're actually in Australia filming this. So then to be able to blend two worlds together with Death in Paradise and Australia, it's like, oh no.
Yeah.
But
That's
Yeah,
exciting.
oh
look,
gosh.
we do we support. I heard something the other day, and this is fact. Per head capita, Australians listen to the most podcasts of any other nation in the world. So we
That's
love
amazing.
podcasts, we love videos, we love, you know, being informed and you know, I think as a nation we're quite curious people. We want to learn things. Anyway, that was a stat that I didn't know, and so that's why there's so many podcasts around, I guess. And speaking of podcasts, did you know my son and I did a podcast before podcasts were a thing?
Oh, I don't think I'd heard
No.
that. No, that's very interesting
Oh
though.
no. Okay, I'm going to give you some info here, and I'm planning on actually playing some of these, releasing them, because my son was in year 12 at high school, and he is super talented as well as a voice artist. The the only person who can do Scooby like I can is my son.
Oh, I love
He
that.
is bang on. We do them separately. People can't tell us apart. He's so good at it. Anyway, he's a super talented guy in a lot of ways, Brody. And anyway, so he's so creative too. And so in 2010, there was podcasts were what's a podcast? You know, believe it or not. But they were a thing, but they were certainly not like where they are now. And anyway, Brody was in year 12 and he wanted to be a radio announcer. So he was doing, I had some contacts at because I was doing commercials at them. So I had got him into a studio for a it was a workplace placement. Anyway, he got this idea for a podcast, and we should do a podcast, Dad. Okay, sure, yeah. What are we going to make it about? Well, let's just talk about us, and we'll call it Brody and Dad. Brody and Dad, the Brody and Dad show. Cool, no worries. So I do a lot of characters, and so does he. And not just Scooby, he does a whole heap of characters. Um, so we wrote some, and we'll just riff about it. We'll just do something because a lot of people are gunners. Oh, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, but they don't actually do anything. Oh, I want to produce, oh, I can make a movie. Well, just make it, mate. Like, don't talk about it. So we thought, let's just put the mics there and we'll just talk. And we'll just talk and see what happens. And then, so episode 1, we introduced ourselves, gave ourselves, a bit of background, and then started talking about just our world, what's going on, today, mate. And then that was a little part of it, just a couple of minutes at the beginning, and then I wrote some skits and some. So it was very much like I was a big Kenny Everett video show fan back in the day. You know Kenny Everett?
It rings a bell, but I'm not confident enough to commit to a yes just yet.
Mate, get online and find the Kenny Everett video show. Honestly, Kenny Everett was a genius, and a radio announcer as well, and he had a skit show. So comedy skit shows, I love, and we do very well in Australia as well. It's Saturday Night Live, all those things. Anyway, so I wrote some skits about what was happening at the time. So it is dated, but it's still pretty good, I think. And I did all the voices, and it was very difficult. We had to download sound effects, and it's very time consuming to produce something. So they got excuse me, they only go for about 10 minutes. Because Brady was at school, I had 3 jobs at the time. I was busy, but it was a really good thing for a father and son to do. Very unique. Some people go fishing, some blokes go fishing together, some people go to whatever's together as father and son. We did a podcast. It's pretty unique. but it was really successful. And of course, I've got two daughters, so Brody's younger sisters. They were teenagers at the time, and they were just funny. Like they'd get on the phone and talk to their friends, and it would be we just listen to them and their acronyms for things. They'd be like, yeah, I can't believe you did that. LeMayo. LeMayo? Laugh my ass off. What? It was just all this funny stuff. So we had two characters. It was a bit Muppets, the old guys in the balcony, their commentary. So we do a couple of old guys as well, Gerald and what's his name? Yeah. Anyway, and the girls. We do the girls because we didn't want to make them names, but it was just. So we do our voices on the phone or talking about what's happening at school. Oh, we're doing the musical. Oh my God, I want to be a tree. A tree? What? This conversation between the girls, because it was what our daughters were saying on, how they were acting with their friends and that. Anyway, it's just a fun thing. 10 minutes. We put it up on what was it on YouTube or something? Whatever the platform was then. For things to be out there. Brody did it all. He's technically amazing. And we got on the new and noteworthy page of the podcasts in the world. So, wow. Oh, no, it was in Australia. That's right. You scroll down and Brody and Dad show. Wow, we did it. People listening, they're liking it. Anyway, we ended up doing only 7 episodes because it was so time consuming. But we ended up getting into this at about episode 4. We got out of the home scenario and I wangled my way into going into the radio station where a mate of mine worked, and he was on the nights doing nights. And of course, radio stations, there's 2 studios, one live and one dead, and then they switch when the new DJ is coming in. Anyway, so we'd be in the one he wasn't using, and then we had access to call people, and that just opened up this whole range of phone calls and things that I could ring my friends, and they were happy to do that because it was a bit of fun. And play their parts, their actors, voice actors as well. Georgie Gillings and Tom Gillander, and rang these people and said, I want to do this skit about so-and-so. Can you do this? And it wasn't scripted, it was just that phone call stuff. And because they're interactive comedy people too. So it worked. Anyway, we got to number 3 in Australia.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. This little Brody. So it was, behind Hamish and Andy, who are very popular, amazing, they're probably number 1 in Australia, comedians. They've been going for 20 years too, as a radio show. Anyway, amazing. So I'm going to drop that soon and just put it out there, have a listen. It's pretty fun. I did a Hollywood a take on, what do I call it? Hollywood Reporter. So it was whatever the thing was happening at the time, that movie. And so I did a skit about the dramas around that particular movie, and all these other skits, all these other little skits to make people laugh. And it was heaps of fun, heaps of fun.
Oh, that's awesome. We'll definitely be sure to keep an eye out for that, and obviously keep everyone in the know when that drops, and definitely ahead of its time. But of course, that does conclude all of the questions that we had for you today. Thank you so much for coming back on. Like, it's so crazy. We do appreciate how generous you have been with your time, because you were kind enough to make this earlier, and now we're on the time that it was originally going to be. So we've definitely gotten lost in our conversations, which I don't know where that time has gone, but thank you so much for coming back on it today. It's been an absolute honor to speak with you again.
My pleasure, guys. I really respect and I really love what you guys do, and keep the do out there.
We'll definitely try.
So from me, thank you very much, JayBee and Milly. I love you. Scooby Doo.
Oh, that's incredible. Thank you so. I'll never not be like, that's crazy. But again, thank you so much to people for watching this. Really, really does mean a lot to everyone to tune in every week and listen to us speak with absolute legends, childhood heroes. Just so amazing. So please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and we'll see you next time.
Love you all. Bye.